The Nissan Rogue has always just sort of blended in Nissan's lineup and just in the SUV lineup overall. But now, with the addition of this new 1.5-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine, will it have the edge on efficiency? Today, we're going to find out. This is Chris here with Daily Motor, and today we're running the real-world highway fuel economy test on the 2022 Nissan Rogue Platinum all-wheel drive with the new 1.5-liter turbo 3-cylinder engine. Before we get started, let's hop out in the rain and take a look at this thing. I'm going to try to make this walk around quick so the camera doesn't get wet, but this thing is finished in a pretty neat shade of orange. And I'm not huge on the looks of this car. I think the front of it looks a bit like an alien, but it certainly doesn't blend in the way that it used to. Apologies also for the lawnmower over there. It's a little bit of a chaotic start to our fuel economy test, but hopefully that calms down today. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So then, why do we run this test? Well, the EPA's fuel economy test, which gives this Nissan Rogue Platinum all-wheel drive 34 MPG on the highway, only averages 48 miles per hour. And we know that some people like to take their cars on actual road trips, on actual American highways with 70-mile-an-hour speed limits. So what we do is we go out 50 miles and back 50 miles, averaging 70 miles per hour to get a more real-world figure. So, a couple things worth noting for today's test. Outside temperature is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to be running the climate control in here at 73 degrees auto. Tires have been set to their factory door placard indicated 33 PSI front and 30 PSI rear cold. And we're going to be using the same gas pump both times, using the same 3-click filling method to get the most accurate results possible. All right, let's go ahead and hop out and get our first fill. And just about 9.5 gallons in there for our first fill. Nice capless filler here on this Nissan Rogue. Makes things pretty easy. Oh, check that out. Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the test. All right, trip is reset. We've got climate control on 73 degrees auto. Start our trip over here. All right. Now we do have a couple of different drive modes here on the Nissan Rogue. We'll go ahead and go through them now. We have off-road, snow, auto, eco, and sport. Obviously today we will be running in eco mode just to be as economical as possible here on our fuel economy test. Now, the purpose of this test is not to hypermile. I'm not going to be doing any purposeful economical driving. I'm simply going to hop onto the highway, set the cruise control to a GPS indicated 72 miles per hour, and just drive for 100 miles and see what the Nissan Rogue gets in a real world scenario. We do have an adaptive cruise control and I believe a steering assist in this Nissan Rogue. So we'll go ahead and get this going now. That set at 72. Let's see if that translates to 72 on the GPS. All right, cool. All right, so we do have a steering assist. We do have radar cruise, so we can adjust our distance here on the steering wheel. I'm going to leave that at the closest distance. Overall, this thing seems to be really quiet, minimal road intrusion, minimal wind intrusion. We do, of course, have some rain going, so we'll be hearing some noise, but overall, first highway impressions are pretty good so far. It took me a minute to figure out how to reset this trip computer because the auto trip computer didn't reset itself, and I didn't know that there was also a manual setting, but we have done that now, and that's getting itself sorted out. But as far as seat comfort goes and just overall ease of use of the car, it seems to be pretty okay as long as you're not trying to reset the trip computer. But I'm just going to go ahead and settle in and see what it's like to just kind of float along in this thing for 100-ish miles. And I will catch up with you guys once I have spent some time behind the wheel of the Nissan Rogue. So I will see you all quite shortly. Enjoy the time lapse. And after an unfortunate turn of events on our highway fuel economy test, due to there being an accident on the way back, we're just going to go off of what the car was reading at the halfway point. So after 50 miles in one direction, I know that isn't the most accurate result that we are able to deliver, but with our allocated time to run the fuel economy test on that car, that is just what we are going to have to work with today. So at the halfway point, the car was reading 35.1 miles per gallon. That's what we're going to give this car for this test. So with that 35.1, let's multiply it by 14.5, our tank capacity, which gives us an effective highway cruising range of 500 miles in this little 3-cylinder turbo Nissan Rogue. Now, I will say, I was pretty happy with how this car performed on the highway. It was super comfortable, it was super quiet, and even this Bose sound system is pretty good as well, in my opinion. So that'll pretty much wrap it up for us today, guys. I apologize for the way that this video turned out, but that just means that we'll have to get another one of these Rogues next year and rerun the test at that time. But let's hop out, end the video outside, and give you guys one more look at this orange and black SUV. Overall, Charlie and I feel kind of bad that we have said some negative things about the Rogue in years past and in this past year, because we've actually enjoyed our week with this car. It's been really comfortable, really nice to live with, and there aren't very many irritating things with it. So stay tuned. If we have any other videos on this car, we will link them in the description. But for now, that's going to end today's fuel economy test. So thank you all so much for watching and bearing with us, since this was a little bit of a different video. So we'll see you in the next one. This has been Chris here with Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.